like for you to describe to our viewers what this weekend was like as a White House reporter? Because I saw some of this, and I follow you and Jonathan Swan and Maggie Haberman on Twitter. I didn't see this level of alarm in the coverage of the White House, even around impeachment, even around some of the hairiest days after Helsinki. Describe the level of alarm at the White House.
The level of alarm at the White House is sky high because of two things. The first is that the president is, as we've laid out here, as you've smartly laid out here, trying to use every lever of power that he has as president to try to overturn this election. He seemingly has no limits. He seemingly is being led on by conspiracy theorists and all sorts of people, people that, of course, even people who wanted to see President Trump win the election are afraid of, thinking of Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani, people who they think that have nefarious means and plans for the American democracy as a whole. The second thing that was happening this weekend is, of course, that the pandemic was raging and there was this Russia hack that we were learning more and more about. So there were real crises brewing in America that needed leadership, that needed the president's attention. And the president simply was not interested in looking at the COVID relief bill. He was not interested in looking at the COVID vaccine and assuring Americans that it was safe. And he was not interested in trying to figure out how to push back on Russia because they are now trying to infiltrate all sorts of critical departments, including the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of State. Instead, what the president was doing was really trying to, again, downplay the adversarial role that Russia's playing. And then, of course, doing what he has always done, which is leaning in on his instincts to just try to gin up all of this chaos to try to find a way to win back this election. It is a very scary period right now, with a month to go until January 20th, and with the president's own allies really very alarmed by him continuing to lean into this idea that he can somehow steal back this election. It's pretty remarkable, given it would already be in some ways attention getting that the president was trying to do this, but he's doing this with the backdrop of all of these different crises that really need his attention.
There's not much I can add to Yamish's perfect description of what's going on, but let me just throw into our conversation some of Jonathan Swan's reporting, Yamish. Quote, there were raised voice levels and animated conversation. It's basically Sidney versus everybody, the source said. That is why voices were raised. There is literally not one mother expletive in the president's entire orbit. His staunchest group of supporters and allies who doesn't think that Sidney Powell should be on the first rocket to Mars. I guess thanks to Donald Trump and the Space Force, that's actually a policy option. But how did Sidney Powell, Yamish, end up in the White House 3 days in a row, including today?
She did that by telling the president what he wants to hear and by leaning into conspiracy theories that are too far-fetched even for people who thought it was okay for the president to be doing all sorts of other things, including trying to get information on Hunter Biden and Joe Biden from Ukraine. This is someone who is way, way, way out. She's not on Earth 2, which is where I think a lot of people around Trump's orbit sometimes reside when they try to steal back the election. She's on Mars 3 or 4. When we think about the fact that the president is someone who didn't want her to even be on his legal team. And then you mentioned Hugo Chavez. Maybe we should remind people that Hugo Chavez is dead. And that's who she thinks was at the heart of trying to steal the election for Democrats. The man has gone and has been gone for several years.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.